If your down payment, remember down payment, 20% down is a myth, but if a large portion of your down payment is going to be used to pay your first month's rent, if you can't have Jules coffee instead of Starbucks like 10 to 15 days out of the month, if you can't cook, be a cook, it doesn't have to be good, but cook at home 4 or 5, 6 days out of the month, then yes, now is the worst time to consider buying a home. Good people, 318 of you right here. If you're new to my channel, I am Anant Deoras, a local EXP realtor here in the wonderful city of Chicago, and we have a video here where it's, okay, I was, kind of joking in my beginning intro there, but well, before I go, what do you guys think of the goatee? You like it? It's high bear nation time, so I'm going to keep the goatee until my mom tells me to shave it. So enough of my mommy issues. Today's topic we're going to be talking about is now a good time for you to purchase a home. I'm going to tackle this from 3 perspectives. Wait till the end. I know a lot of you are first timers or maybe thinking of buying again, you maybe bought in the past. I'm going to talk about that group at the end. But my first 2 groups here I'm going to be talking about is the move up, right? Who are looking for the forever home, and investors. Okay, my move up buyers. So basically defined as you have an existing home, hopefully here in one of the wonderful Chicago neighborhoods, or in the Chicagoland. I do work in the suburbs too. And you are in your transitional home and you really want to get that forever home. Your family, they're growing, whatever reason, right? Life events happen, regardless of whatever the reason is. And so now you're wondering, okay, is it a good time? First, you got to understand, is it a good time to sell? I know this is a buy video, and then of course go ahead and buy. So it's a loaded question. I would actually say is there is. I've done videos, I've done a lot of short form videos. Yes, absolutely now. You can put your place in the market now in the winter. You got to remember the buyers, albeit fewer, are very motivated. They're not going to waste time, right? So as your listing agent, hopefully I will have them vetted beforehand because I know it's the holidays, right? You want to be with your family. You don't want to be disturbed. So we can actually put it on the market. But what I'm going to tell you is actually consider waiting. Prep your place now, Mr. and Mrs. Move Up Buyer, or Mr. and Mr. or Mrs. and Mrs., any non-binary, binary, however you identify, right? Get your place prepared, right? The 3 Ps are big. You got to prepare, price, promote. Get it ready to be listed in a traditional February, March timeframe, just like any normal market. Because what's probably going to happen here, the Fed and Jerome Powell, that's a Martin reference, Jerome, has done very aggressive rate hikes, right? And so at the time of this video, we're anticipating another one in December before the end of the year. And so with the anticipation of these aggressive rate hikes are going to rein in inflation, and then as a result, interest rates will go down. We don't have a crystal ball, but my take is, and in talking with my colleagues and the experts, is yes, we're going to have a little bit of a pullback, not an extreme. So we may be in the 5s, the high 5s, or maybe low 6s, which is going to automatically cause a little bit of a surge in demand from buyers. And therefore, your place will be primed to get top dollar. I'm not going to guarantee you're going to get anything that happened 6, 7, 8, 9 months ago, but you'll get the top dollar as much as possible. And then, of course, then you have those proceeds, right? And a larger down payment to be able to weather a higher interest rate. Because however you slice it, you're probably in the 3s or 4s. Unless you're on an ARM, an adjustable rate mortgage. So you're going to be paying more, but that's just one element. So I don't want you to close. It's a combination of both. And I, as your listing agent and your buyer's agent, hopefully I can handle both transactions. Yes, that's how you'd be able to do it. You'd have a larger down payment to apply on that buy side to help you rein in your monthly payment. So what you do if you are this move up buyer, you should absolutely reach out to me, or just simply if you don't want to commit, I understand it, right? I'm not going to bug you. You can just comment below and let me know that you want to understand what your potential net proceeds will be. And we can run through some scenarios, right? We can test a little bit higher. We can put the property, once it's properly prepared, or as it's being prepared, we can put it on the private MLS. I can explain what that is to you. So I can't do any of that until you reach out. So reach out to me. We can understand what your net proceeds are going to be. And then if you have enough, based upon what your, of course, larger home, It may be in the suburbs, it may be a larger condo or a single family in the city. And of course, that will, as I mentioned, that will help kind of minimize that shock of a what's anticipated to be a larger monthly payment. Okay, so how about my investors, right? We are talking about, is now the actually worst time to buy a home? Well, that's going to really kind of depend. So it really kind of depends on, it's more numbers driven, right? The emotion and the emotional attachment, because buying a home is an emotional, it almost can't be measured, right? The kind of value of just home for most people, right? But as you're an investor, right, you are purely looking, and if I'm advising you, we're looking at dollars and cents here. So I would almost say let's wait a little time in the investment space. We're talking 2 to 4 flats, right? We're not talking about investments for condos, because with the assessments and the taxes, we just got our second installment, and I'm still crying. But with the taxes and assessments, it doesn't make sense with the condo to use that as an investment, unless you want to, of course, if you have an existing condo. But I'm saying purchasing one as an investment. You want to look at the 2 to 4 flat or multifamily 5+ units. We got to look at the numbers, and you may want to wait 3 or 4 months or wait until the summertime, where there may be some pullback from sellers that are selling their investment properties. So actually, yes, it would actually, now I'm thinking now would be a bad time. Let's wait for the summer and get you that investment property. I do want to add with investors, right? There's more variables, because it's not just looking at, of course, the profit, the cap rates. With a lot of these 2 to 4 unit, multi-unit investments are older. They're 100+ years. Doesn't mean that they're bad, right? They've got really good bones in a lot of the popular neighborhoods at Jefferson Parks, Irving Parks, Lakeview, Lincoln Park, etc. So we have to look at how properly that seller maintained it. So it could be a situation, just depending on the property, where we move quick now if the pricing's right. But I would just say overall, unless you have a really, really big motivation to get in the market right now as an investor, let's wait till the summer. I can get you set up on a search. So definitely what the action plan here as an investor, if you're an investor thinking about investing in Chicago, get on my site. I'll actually set you up on through the MLS, both private, real time, and on the regular MLS. So you can see some properties. If you like something, we can go check it out. No pressure at all. Alrighty, so my first timers, those first timers, or maybe you're a boomerang buyer is someone who's purchased in the past and for whatever reason, typically because of a foreclosure situation, they're coming back. They've been renting, and now the waiting period, which I believe is 7 years, they're back and gonna buy again. So there's so much confusion because again, there's just so much clickbaity crap. I want to say something worse, but this is a PG channel. You seeing all this clickbaity stuff, you have no idea what to do. So, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, right, you may have to pull back on some other expenses. Do you guys realize you guys are focusing on the interest rate when you probably have a credit card debt paying an interest rate of 20%, maybe even 25%. And you're not even thinking twice about that, and you're holding that balance, right? So in the whole grand scheme of things, it's one single item of a totality of an interest payment, right? Of a monthly payment, which in the Chicago, you have your principal, your interest, your taxes, your condo insurance, and your assessment, right? So in some situations, the assessment may be bigger than that interest rate. So let's look at it on the totality. What I've decided to do is a couple of properties right on the MLS. I'm going to walk you through on what the payment would be. Okay, so I want to look at 2 Andersonville area properties. Andersonville is a very popular neighborhood within the Edgewater community. So let's take a look, and let's say hypothetically $2,000 a month is what you'd like to pay. So very attractive pricing here. Just to keep in mind, folks, 6 to 8 months ago, these properties were going for $350, $360, or $370 because we had a hyper seller-centric market. So now we're at something a little bit more reasonable. This just came on the market. Nice, beautiful vintage. You can see some of the photos. This is my website, by the way, folks, livinginchicago.net. Super simple to get an account. You just click this little person here and email and phone number. So beautiful vintage features in here. Let's look at some of the key components. $415 the monthly assessments. It's a condo. and just under 5,000, excuse me, under 4,500 for the taxes. I got a nifty calculator on all the listings just below. We did 10% down at the current rate. We did get under 7%. The total math here is just under 2,600. Property number 2, right here on Berwyn. This is an extremely attractive price. Obviously smaller, right? But I just wanted to do a kind of a compare contrast. So 239, just under 240 is a list price. Really nice vintage features. Again, there's a lot of vintage character finishes in a lot of the condos in Andersonville. So if that's your bag, then this is definitely for you. So taxes manageable, 2,500, 316 for the assessments, as you can see here. And you do the math again. The hypothetical 2,000, you are actually 1,900, 10% down. It's unbelievable. Now, in both, folks, of course, you're not putting 20% down. There may be a PMI that could be wrapped in the loan amount that could be paid up front. So, extremely attractive. You don't even need seller concessions. You can move forward in the current market conditions. I would recommend for the prior property on Summerdale to do what's called a 2-in-1 buy down. If you want to know what that's explained, what that's about, then just let me know in the comments. I'll explain it, or get seller concessions. But these are 2 properties. It's definitely manageable. And as a first-time buyer, I would definitely proceed ahead of time. And where you would need to sacrifice. So that may mean sacrificing and buying jewels, coffee, right? I think buying a home is a very, very important, and I think it outweighs, okay, maybe I'm biased, right? I admit it, full disclosure. I'm a real estate agent, but I'm going to give you the honest information, and obviously you make the ultimate decision. So it's a comfort level. So maybe this is a situation, maybe you want to get out of your comfort. And with less competition now, it may make sense for you to go now. Because you're probably saying, AD, well, why don't I just wait? You saw in the thumbnail, I actually said buy now or not, right? And in a way, it may not make sense going and waiting until the spring, because as I've mentioned with the move-up buyers, there's an anticipation of building momentum of interest rates coming down, not a huge deceleration, but a slight decrease, which is automatically going to cause a surge. And so what's going to happen is going to be what you, for people who were in the market earlier this year of 2022 and did not get a property, you're back to having all that competition and then of course multiple offers. Versus now you have less competition, you have sellers that are motivated that may provide concessions. You'll be able to do something that's called a 2-in-1 buy down, which I will explain in the comments. So there's options. So if that's your plan, then please reach out to me, or at minimum set up a search on my site, and then I can get you in the off-market listings, and we can find right damn now is the worst time to buy a home or not. I hope you enjoyed the content. Don't go anywhere, right? I have a video here I want you to see. I was looking at some Andersonville properties, and so I did a full video in Andersonville, so I want you to check it out. I want you to get on my website, start searching. It doesn't hurt. I'm not going to bug you. I told you, you want to use 555-1212? I don't give a damn. Get set up, be proactive, reach out to me. I'm happy to help. I do conversations. I have conversations with people, whether they're buying or not, every single day. I love to talk about real estate. Reach out to me. Any questions at all? Watch this video in Andersonville if you got any questions. Thank you so much, 318 of my lovely subscribers and the non-subscribers. Please subscribe. Take care.